Hello, this is Toby the Galactic Intuitive. How's everybody doing today? It is Friday, August the 22nd. We are approaching swiftly the new moon in Virgo, which happens at 2:06 a.m. tomorrow morning, at least here in the eastern coast of the United States. Wow, I don't know why I feel kind of out of breath all of a sudden. I don't have a topic to talk about, so I'm just going to see what my guides want to bring through for you guys. I do have some card decks out, so we might just pull some cards. Interestingly, we'll start by talking about the cards. So I got a new deck yesterday, which is called the Inner Temple Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. It's a really beautiful deck, as all of hers are. But this one feels, I was going to save it for myself, at least initially. However, it feels very much, very appropriate for a new moon in Virgo. And so I was also felt very guided to pull out the Hermit card, which is associated with the sign of Virgo in the tarot. Out of this particular deck, this is the Star Tarot. I'm not sure who created it, and I can't read that far away. So, the Star Tarot. Anyway, it has actually this image on the box and on the guidebook cover. I pulled this out because, again, this represents the Hermit, and the Hermit is the guardian of the inner temple. Interesting. Inner temple? Inner temple. Interesting, though, I wasn't planning to say the guardian, but the one who visits and is very accustomed to or acquainted with, very closely acquainted with the inner temple. The one who seeks within, basically. But the other part of this is not only, as you see here, this is actually the Hermit leaving that cave with its light, his light, and the wisdom represented in the owl here that he has gained through his travels in that inner temple of the cave. And so bringing the light outward into the world to help to illuminate others on their path. The other interesting thing about this is that, okay, I don't know, I just am guided to show you guys the back of the inner temple cards again. But there's the light. Look at how much, I didn't notice this before, but they're both very golden. This one has the golden stars and sparkles around the edge, and then the light has a golden hue to it as well. The other thing that I've heard a couple of people, well, more than a couple, a few people talking about recently leading up to this new moon that I hadn't mentioned to you guys, and that is the new moon is also conjunct the star Regulus. Is that right? Yeah, conjunct the star Regulus. Sorry, my ears are doing something funny. There's something that's about to come in. The star Regulus is about, it is about leadership and can be protection as well, but also that inner authority that we've been talking about all through the Lionsgate portal, and authenticity, but really leaning into, it is also kind of the energy associated with royalty and empowerment, not empowerment, but power, kingship, I'm hearing. So combining these energies of having gone within and wandered throughout the inner temple, all throughout the many chambers, and now being called to and recognizing the time when it is time to step outside of that inner temple, carrying with you the wisdom that you have gained, carrying that light, and then being willing to authentically shine that light, because it's in that frequency, that that frequency of authenticity that allows you to, it's interesting because it doesn't necessarily have to be an intentional step into leadership. It's when you're embodying that frequency of authenticity and you're willing to share the wisdom that you've gained, that you just, it's an organic, and I don't know why I'm having a hard time with my words. It's an organic movement into a state of leadership. And it's more the frequency and the energy of leadership than it is a state of mind, is what I want to say. So that was an interesting way to bring that message through. But that feels very, one of the important aspects of this new moon in Virgo. And again, we have another one coming up at the end of September as well. So we have a whole 4-week period of this process. And in the middle of that, we have a full moon in Pisces. And I believe that's the first eclipse too, for the eclipse season. So having then the light also being shown very brightly on all things Pisces, that 12th house of the subconscious, of the hidden realms, of higher levels of consciousness, of psychic gifts, of dreams, of intuitive gifts as well, and comfort in moving through those experiences and the depths of Piscean energy, the depths of our emotions, and then what they say to us. And that's really interesting on the back of yesterday's message from the Polarians, speaking about our responsibility for our own emotions and not those of others. So having this beautiful balance between an awareness of the frequencies of different emotional states within ourselves, with the work we've done within the inner temple, and also honoring and holding space for and having an awareness of external frequencies of others' emotions and the energies that go along with that, and being able to maintain a place of neutrality. I also heard someone say recently, I don't remember how she put it. It was about sovereignty being the place of neutrality, which I thought was a really beautiful way of expressing that. And in that, my interpretation of what she said was neutrality being the balance between the dark and the light within ourselves. And that's exactly what we have here over this 4-week period, having the 2 new moons and then the full moon in the middle, which is an eclipse, and there's eclipse at the end at the 4-week period with that second new moon. But the hermit being the one who steps outside of the cave, but after being inside the cave and the inner temples and doing the work there, exploring with curiosity and with a determination to learn what needs to be learned. There is a sense of fearlessness to it. Or it brings up the phrase of, and I don't know who originally said this, but feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Because the spiritual path is certainly is not without challenges, and there can certainly be, we must, well, we don't have to do anything, but if you're on this path, then you, in order to continue on it, you have to confront your fears. You do, to be able to progress. And then what you do with that is certainly up to you, but it does require that of us if we're going to expand. It doesn't mean we ever get past to a point of not having fear, but then we're able to get to the point of being able to witness the fear, recognize that it is something that does not define us, and feeling it and doing the thing anyway. And that's also the stepping forward and the shining of one's light, and the sharing of the information, and the speaking of one's personal experience, and how that in itself creates a space in which other people then are drawn to that frequency of authenticity, and not only then have the opportunity to embody their own, but feel safe in doing that as well. It requires vulnerability, but it's in that vulnerability that we share the willingness to witness our own fears, and witness both the light and the shadow within ourselves and within others too. Okay, let's see what we message here. Okay, let's see what the Inner Temple Oracle wants to say, wants to share with us. I don't know that we'll do a tarot card. My desk is kind of far away from me, so I'm getting awfully close to the camera. All right, one more. Okie dokie. If I can get my fingers to work. Such a beautiful deck. Oh, and look on the bottom, we have ancestral healing. Look, when we've talked about this before too, this is the first time I've shuffled these cards to pull a card, so they're still kind of sticky. Hang on a sec. Let me do this again. Separate them up a little bit. I love her cards. They do tend to be a little sticky to begin, but all new ones do. All right. All right. What would you like to share for this new moon in Virgo, please? Thank you. I might have to shuffle a few times to get them unstuck. There we go. Nope, I did not. How interesting. The in-between. Well, we talked about how we've got a whole month, right? Of the, oh, there goes the nose, and it was right at 111, or I'm sorry, 11:11. No, what? Never. It was actually 13:11 when I said that. It's interesting though that, forgive me, I don't know. My brain is doing some weird things right now. I got a whole bunch of numbers going and my nose is itching like crazy, and whoa, I just got overloaded with a bit of energy there. Oh my gosh, that's wild. Okay. Give me a second. I don't know what's happening here. The in-between. Well, I think what what this is actually representing in the message, in my experience of this, is, see how the figure there is like, I'm actually taking this, no, I can't. Oh, it is, because you can kind of see a face. You're not going to be able to see the face through the camera because the light's too bright. But that's actually someone in a veil. So it feels a bit overwhelming. And that's what I'm getting. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm getting, is this sense of like multiple sensory experiences happening as a result of all of this energy. And I think that's exactly what's being symbolized here with these lights, with these stars too, coming from up above. These are activations that are happening. And oh my gosh, so much energy. I've been feeling a lot of this recently too. Especially the last few days, I've felt this sort of being in the in-between and feeling, it feels very quiet and still. I think we talked about this last week, which was kind of the build up to it. But when we are approaching a significant moment for, and we can talk about it like a portal, we can talk about it like a doorway or a gateway, but these segments of opportunity is probably the best way to speak about it, because just because they're available doesn't mean that everybody's going to take them or it needs to take them, right? Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's in a different place on their path. It feels very heart-centered though, because has a lot to do with the heart chakra and the solar plexus, which would make a lot of sense for the wisdom of the inner temple and the inner path and the exploration there, alongside the energy of Regulus, which is one of the main stars in the constellation Leo. And that's very much associated with our solar plexus, our confidence, our self-expression, and how we feel that. I mean, I think that is the phrase for Leo, I feel. No, I think it's I express. They're feeling very linked together. Anyway, I'm all over the place. Sorry. There's a lot of energy here. This is the in-between, and it feels a little bit all over the place, but notice how she's underneath, or the person is underneath this veil. It feels like the guidance that we're being given right now is that we're about to step out of this inner temple. Allow yourself to be in the be in the stillness, be in the in-between. Allow yourself to take time to integrate all of these activations and honestly, it feels, this does not feel like an external source. Now, certainly, there are a lot of things cosmically that are going on to assist us, to help to create a hang on, I'm getting a phrase, a frequency. What was that? It's like a frequency environment, but that's not the word. Environment wasn't the word, and I can't quite get what the word is. Anyway, it's a frequency environment. If I can think of if I can get the word that they gave me, I'll tell you. But yeah, it's floated away. A frequency environment that is conducive for these activations. This is the frequency environment, okay? And these activations are actually coming from within her. That's her third eye. And so these are activations that are welling up from within our cellular remembrance. I'm still trying to get that word. It keeps like barely popping in and then it goes out. Oh my gosh, what is it? Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, anyway, so I know I'm all over the place and I'm so sorry. It's coming through so quickly, and I'm getting bits and pieces here and there, and it's just like these sparks. So you may feel rather discombobulated, kind of out of sorts. I have felt that way the last couple of days. In the morning, it hasn't been so bad in the afternoon, although now apparently it's hitting me again. It's a little bit difficult to focus. That word keeps wanting, it's like, it's not symbiosis, but it's something similar to that. I can hear some of you like not yelling it at me, but saying it at me like, it's this word. I can't think of it. Anyway, we'll let that go. So allowing yourself to be in the in-between. This does feel like, because we just talked about the Pisces full moon, that is literally the in-between point. It is the median point between these two new moons. And so there is something within that that is, okay, that's interesting, exponentially important or significant to this process. And the lighting up of the third eye, very much associated with Piscean energy too, as well as the crown chakra. But again, they're highlighting to me, to you, that these activations are more of a remembrance than they are something externally. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but a lot of the messages are directing us in that direction, directing us that way anyway, and are asking us to honor that truth, that really all of these activations, all of the things that we are experiencing are, they might have sparks, or again, I can't think of that word, but the frequency environment conducive to opening to these activations of aspects or vibrations or wisdom or what technologies within us, but they're all coming from within us. And so much of the guidance coming through from my team, at least, is that it's becoming increasingly important for us to honor that, and for us to trust in that, and to believe that, and to use great discernment when we're looking outside of ourselves, or and to be aware when external sources are not redirecting us back internally, or offering guidance that supports that internal exploration, that directs one to look outwardly versus inwardly. Is that even a word? Inwardly. I think it is. Inward. Okay. So we have the in-between. A lot of heart chakra stuff going on. A lot. But there's, with that truth of the remembrance of all of these activations emanating from within us. And again, they can be inspired, they can be sparked, there can be even an opening created, or an opening created to that through different means that happen externally. But the reminder is that everything exists within us. We honestly don't need anything externally. It's those external things that help us. They can help us to remember and to open to the internal wisdom and technologies and activations that are waiting to be turned on. But everything is within us. The tall poppy. And this is interesting because this was the card underneath the deck when I was showing you the Hermit earlier. Here's the tall poppy. Okay, I'm going to read this one. Let me find it. I'm not even sure where it is, so give me a second. I don't even know where to look. They don't have numbers, so give me just a moment. Oh, there it is. Okay. Y'all, this is so perfect. Oh my gosh. Okay. The tale of the tall poppy, and I did not know this. The tale of the tall poppy says that the poppy that rises highest in the field will be cut down. Okay. This card appears when someone is called to be visible in the world and to soar to greater heights than ever before. Yet they may feel daunted by the size of the call and fear negative reactions, criticism, and envy from people around them. Shame is a tool used by the patriarchy to keep us captive. So refuse to feel ashamed. Refuse to take up less space. Refuse to be bound or dimmed. If you live in a way that attempts to appease everyone, your medicine will be wasted. Your presence being a vital note in the great orchestra of life. Reach high and rise like the tallest poppy in the field, for this is your destiny. If fear or shame or confusion or grief come, do whatever you need to do to move this through your body. Dance, sing, shake, scream, walk, run, talk to a trusted one. Don't let any part of your soul leave. Your light is needed here. And she has activations for each of the cards. The inner temple activation for this card is, I refuse to take up less space or dim my light in accordance with others' opinions. I allow the potency of my truth and my light to occupy each and every cell and take up the entire room unapologetically. Hell yeah. I love that. This is perfect. And look, you see that light right there? This is the light that is coming from within you right there. This is that same light that the hermit is carrying now. And it's this light that then is shown outwardly and becomes that beacon, a beacon of holding space for others, a beacon of hope as well, a beacon of compassion and unconditional love. That is beautiful. All right, we are going to end it there. I can't believe I've been talking for 27 minutes. It does not feel like it. All right, I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for being here. As always, I appreciate you so, so, so much. Please be sure to like if this resonated with you. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Yes, I think that's it. If you're interested in a reading with me, check out the description box down below. I do, my readings are really multi-dimensional. I sometimes use the cards, always consult with my guides, connect in with your guides. Sometimes they're work with the angels, sometimes with ancestors. It just depends on whatever is needed. And so it is a free-flowing type experience, but one that is always rooted in the intention of bringing through the information for your highest good and offering an environment that facilitates your clarity and inner balance and peace as well. Okay, enough rambling. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow.